Bogdan prays every Friday at the Apanayev Mosque in Kazan, the capital of the Russian Republic of Tatarstan. He is part of the large Muslim community in the city, where Islam and Orthodox Christianity are observed in roughly equal numbers. But he is one of very few there who came to Islam as a convert.
I was a Christian ethnically. In other words, I was baptized as a child. I'm Russian, as you know, but until a certain age, until about 11th grade, I took no interest in religion. I mean, I lived like the rest of young people. At school, I was surrounded mainly by Tatars, and I had one Tajik classmate. I guess they often showed me by their behavior that they belonged to a different religion. I became interested and started listening to lectures, watching videos, and learning about Islam. I realized I needed more, and after speaking to my best friend, I said, let's make the change. Let's start praying.
There are no official statistics on the number of converts to Islam in Tatarstan or Russia as a whole, but Bogdan is not alone. Sabira, who was born Irina Tarasevich, followed a path that led from the Bible to the Quran.
I simply began reading the Bible. I was 37 at the time, and I thought it was time to learn more about my religion. I come from a very observant family. We've always marked all Christian holidays. But then I read the Bible, and it said you couldn't eat pork, you couldn't paint icons, you couldn't make idols, and that simply didn't match what I saw in church.
For both converts, a change in faith has meant a great deal of commitment and study. Sabira, who has 2 adult daughters, came to Kazan from Siberia 2 years ago. She studies at the Islamic University in Kazan, where she also works as a secretary and a dorm supervisor. Bogdan is earning his degree in Oriental Studies at Kazan State University. He already teaches a course in Arabic. But he says his decision to convert has not always been easy.
All my friends are Christians, and in the beginning they were telling me my new way of life was something of a betrayal.
The Muslim community can be skeptical as well. Bogdan and Sabira have faced questions about whether they can fully integrate into Muslim life. Nael Hazrat Garipov, the imam of the Apanayev Mosque, says that new converts are not steeped in the same traditions as their fellow believers.
Tatar and Bashkir are languages in which Islam has been propagated in this region for many years. One of the problems is neophytes' lack of knowledge of the local languages. Besides, there are folk traditions that have been cultivated in families. It's clear that neophytes know practically nothing about these traditions, and they take these traditions as a novelty.
But both Sabira and Bogdan say the differences in tradition do not make them any less Muslim.
Many ethnic Muslims bring in their folk traditions, which are not directly linked to Islam, but something they inherited from their grandmothers and grandfathers. Those Muslims who do not have such roots begin to study religion as it should be. They study the Quran, the Sunnah, the legal foundations, without mixing in any of those folk traditions.
There are people who call themselves Muslims, but they don't act like true Muslims. On the other hand, there are people who consider themselves atheists or adherents to other religions, Christians or Jews, but I feel they're much closer to me spiritually because they act like Muslims.
Bogdan accepts others who don't share his religion, but he is concerned about how his faith might be misunderstood. New converts to Islam have been involved in several recent terrorist attacks in Russia, giving rise to media depictions of converts as particularly prone to religious extremism. Bogdan says this is an unfair and distorted perspective.
Imagine a Muslim, a common person, who just prays and does good deeds, and the world doesn't know about those people. But if someone wages war or carries out a terrorist attack, then the whole world talks about that.
Converts to Islam in Russia may face skepticism from the media, friends, family, and religious authorities, but the challenges do not shake the faith of Bogdan and Sabira. They say their commitment to Islam is strong, and they say it is forever.